my name is Karen. I've been a swimming teacher for 15 years, and over this time I've come up with some fantastic techniques to help your children get confident in the water. Because of COVID, of course we can't go to the swimming pool, so I thought why not try some techniques at home in the bath or even in the lounge using a bucket to help get your child confident, and when they resume their swimming lessons, hopefully this will help them out. One of the most difficult things I've found over the years about teaching a child to swim is getting them to put their faces in the water. Getting them to also learn how to take a breath, hold it, and do all of this underwater. It can be a little bit difficult for children to learn how to put their face in the water. But over the next coming weeks, I'm going to be sharing with you all of my techniques that I have come up with over the last 15 years to try and help you to get your child confident at swimming at home. Holding your breath can be something that is a little bit daunting for a child because, of course, they sometimes breathe through their noses and sometimes they breathe through their mouths. So the first thing I like to introduce to a child is the concept of having their mouth closed when it is in the water. Of course, children love to talk about their body parts, so letting them know that this is their mouth, letting them know that when their mouth goes in the water, it needs to be closed. Why is this, they might ask you? Well, because you don't want to drink the water. Sometimes we drink water through a glass, but when we're in a swimming pool, we want to keep our mouth closed and not get any of that water in our mouth. So I teach them the concept of closing their mouth. Sometimes I like to count for them, just to give them something else to focus on. So you can do this at home in the bath, get them to close their mouths and start to count. Then get them to learn the concept of blowing. Of course, when you exhale, you don't blow so forcefully, but with children, you need to take them through these things step by step. So the concept of closing their mouth and the concept of blowing. Inhaling, exhaling. Try to repeat this 5 to 10 times whilst they're in the bath. If your child is quite confident at doing this skill, then introduce a little bit of water. So when they close their mouth, get some water and gently just rub it over their lips. Once the water has left their mouth, tell them that it's okay to blow out. This teaches them that when water comes over their mouth, they need to keep it closed, and when they exhale, of course, they can open their mouth. The next activity is called kissing the water. Here I have my trusty Tupperware full of water. You can, of course, do this in the bath with your children just leaning their heads down, or you can do it in a jug, a cup, any body of water really. The steps that you need to go through is closing your mouth, kissing the water, coming up, and blowing out. Make sure you repeat these phrases to your children before they do each part of it. So, closing your mouth, notice how I waited until my lips exited the water before I exhaled. Get them to practice this 5 to 10 times in the bath, closing their mouth, kissing the water, and blowing out. Closing their mouth, kissing the water, and blowing out. Now, sometimes when they put their faces in the water, they might get the tip of their noses wet. Don't worry, this is exactly what we want them to do. Moving on to the next step. Over the next few weeks, I am going to be introducing all of these different parts to you. But for this week, your activity is to get your children to practice closing their mouth, keeping it closed, and then blowing out. You can do this by getting some water on your hand, closing their mouth, and blowing out. Repeat that 5 to 10 times before moving on to the next activity, which remember is kissing the water. We will see you next week. It's just going to be me. I'm going to see you next week with the second part of our 5 stages of how to get your child's face in the water. Have a good week, everybody. Bye.